Hi, this is Aaron for BandLab, and in this video we're going to make a progressive house drop in BandLab's free online DAW. You can open this project yourself with the link in the video description, and if you find this guide useful, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be the first to know when new videos drop. I begin by setting the project tempo to 122 BPM and the project key to F minor. As with most types of dance music, having a solid beat is of the utmost importance in progressive house, so I'm going to start there. I create a virtual instrument track and set it to Creator Kit's Jack Chicago House, which gives me some classic house drum samples. I right-click on the instrument track and select Create Region to make a MIDI clip, then double-click that to bring up the MIDI editor. I program a simple beat with kicks on each beat of the bar. Closed hats between the beats, and claps on the second and fourth beat. I then duplicate this out for the whole of the 4-bar clip. To duplicate notes or clips, simply highlight what you need to duplicate, then hold Option on Mac or Alt on Windows and drag the material into the desired position. I want to make an 8-bar sequence to start with, so I duplicate the MIDI clip out as well. The beat is a little quiet, so I'm going to bring its level up by opening the effects panel and adding a Dynamics BL1176 compressor effect. I'd also like a natural sounding shaker part to complement the one-shot drum beats, so I open up BandLab's sample library and click the Loops tab. I enter shaker into the text search field and drag Metro Disco Shaker onto the project. I duplicate this part so that it plays for 8 bars as well. I'd like this part to be louder too, so I add another BL1176, this time turning up its output to plus 3.4 dB. For the musical elements, I'm going to want a bass line plus some harmonized pads. I know I'm going to want the bass to provide some percussive rhythmic energy, so I pick a synth bass instrument with a relatively aggressive attack, specifically synth basses, lately bass. I'd like this part to play a sequence for the full 8 bars, so I use the handle at the bottom right-hand corner of the clip to drag it out. I program a rhythmic part that plays on the 3rd 16th of the first beat and the 2nd 16th of the second beat. This part plays the F, up to a perfect 5th on C, then down to the perfect 4th on A sharp, then the minor 3rd on G sharp, with a satisfying dip to the minor 7th on D sharp for the last bar. Next, I add a pad to harmonize with the bass line. I select Keyboards, Synth Pads, New Age Synth. This starts on the F like the bass line, but then plays a G, creating a perfect 5th with the bass's C. Then it plays a D sharp, which makes a perfect 4th with the bass on A sharp. Then it plays C, which makes a major 3rd with the bass's G sharp, alternating to a minor 3rd when the bass note changes to A sharp. So that's the unison. Perfect 5th, perfect 4th, major 3rd, minor 3rd. I'd like the pad to sound more mellow, so I add a tone multi-filter effect and set the frequency to 574 Hz. I'd also like the pad to sound more atmospheric, so I add a reverb, studio reverb, setting the mix to 5 and the size to 8.3. I take this track's level down to -3 dB to balance it with the other elements. Next, I add another pad, this time Keyboard's Synth Pads Soft Pad. This plays F to start, like the other elements, then hits C, the same note as the bass, A sharp, also the same note as the bass, then C, the same note as the first pad. So, this doesn't turn any of these intervals into a triad, but it does swap between which part it's in unison with, resulting in a different textural feel. To take the unwanted bass out of this part, I add a multi-filter set to high pass mode with a frequency of 170 Hz. I then turn the track down to -6 dB. Next, I'd like a bright synthetic lead that will pop when layered over the smooth pads and punchy bass. I opt for Keyboard's Synth Keys House Chords. This plays an A sharp and a C, F and a C, D sharp and a C, and C and an A sharp. I want this part to be much more interesting texturally, so I add a delay, filter echo effect, setting the delay to 327 milliseconds to get a triplet style rhythm and a feedback of 80% to give it a long tail. Then I add a studio reverb with a mix of 8.2 and a size of 4.6 to give it an epic feel. I turn this track down to -4 dB. I'd like a key sound to add over the top of everything else, so I select Keyboard's Synth Keys Soft Bells. I use this to program a part that plays an F minor, C minor, A sharp sus4, and an F minor. I want to use the same effect as I did on the lead, so I return to the lead track and click the Save As button to save the effect chain. I call this Epic Prog Lead, and once it's saved, I go to the keys track and select it from the list of presets. I turn this track down to -10 dB. To help with the arrangement, I want to add a couple of sound effects too, an impact and a riser. For the impact, I want a crash cymbal sound, so in the samples library, I search for crash. I drag Tomahawk Crash into the project, truncate it so it just plays the first crash, and turn its track down to -15 dB. Next, I search for Rise and drag Orca Stutter Rise into the end of my sequence. I only want to use the last half of the audio clip, so I use the handle at the bottom right-hand corner of the clip to truncate it to just the last 2 bars. To create a drop arrangement, I start with a breakdown consisting of the shaker, first pad, and lead. The drop adds the drums, bass, and second pad, with the lead taking a break. For the next 16-bar section, the lead comes back in. For the section after that, the first pad drops out, with the keys taking its place. Remember, you can fork this project and make your own version of it using the link in the video description. Have fun!